Good morning, Jim Hodges here, Diamond here. Diamond is a 1.5-year-old Komondor. Komondor is a livestock guardian. What does that mean? That basically means on farms where there are llamas, chickens, horses, goats, sheep, what have you, their job is designed to roam the property and protect their livestock. They do a very good job of it. They typically are very energetic as puppies, especially around people they like, but as they get older, they tend to settle into their job. Livestock guardians, owning a livestock guardian carries a very heavy responsibility. Socialization is key. You need to get your dog around, if you have a livestock guardian, in places where they can understand that not everything and everyone could be a potential enemy. Livestock guardians grow up to discriminate and make their own decisions. It's important that us as owners help to socialize, help to teach, especially around other humans and children, what we are like and everything is friendly. It's also important with the livestock guardian, especially in an urban, a city environment with a home and not a farm, that we are the leader. You know, obedience is the best way to become that leader. But she needs to know that we're in control. Livestock guardians need to know that we're in control. If not, they go back to self-appointing themselves and deciding what's a threat and what isn't. We don't want that to happen. We want the biggest threat to be predators, coyotes, wolves, foxes, things along those lines. At any rate, Diamond is a fantastic girl. She's very sweet and friendly for those she knows. She does tend to be guarded. We have to be a leader in those situations. We have to make sure that we're always managing situations where strangers or people could pop in out of the blue. One of the things we've noticed with Diamond is that she is startled by noises and things like that. As we become her leader, we want to encompass those noise and things that make her afraid, okay? And do it at a safe distance, but do it to a point that she understands that if she's afraid, that's fine, but we're not going to let anything happen to her. We're in control. We're the leader. We're going to take care of the bad guys. We have her back, okay? We don't do that by when she's afraid, start petting and loving and reinforcing, because that's what we're doing, that fear. When she's afraid, get over it, girl. Move to obedience if at all possible. At least if nothing else, stand your ground with her, okay? But we do not pet and soothe any dog when they're afraid, because all we're doing is reinforcing, rewarding the bad behavior. Having said that, we're going to go through obedience. Obedience is the key. We never ever give a command unless we know what she's going to do or we're in a position to provide the consequence. Remember what we talked about motivation. Motivation is praise, 20 times praise plus consequence. Praise is words and touch, maybe a toy, maybe a treat. But we do that when others come over and she's being good. But when others come over in the beginning, we're going to have her on a leash and manage her, right? But when others come over, when she's being a good girl laying there quietly, whenever she's doing something good, we want to praise her. When we do the obedience, we want to praise her, okay? But when she does something wrong and she knows she's done something wrong, it's important that we provide a consequence or a bite. And what is a consequence? Words and touch in our case with Diamond right now. The next 30, 60, 90 days are critically important. We want to be able to walk in the neighborhood. We want to be able to go to the office. We want to be able to do all of these things, but we always put ourselves in a position that we're between whatever we've got and her because of that fear. So, you know, in the neighborhood, we stop to meet someone, we may put our foot out just like that to show her that we're in control, we're the leader. We praise her when she handles it well. Okay, so now you're going to see me do the obedience. Watch my, listen to my tone. Watch my reactions as she messes up. If she messes up, what needs to be done, okay? We start very slowly in our obedience without distraction, and we gradually increase distractions. We can do that in your office, outside in the yard with people walking by. Everything at a safe distance. Safe distance for them, but more importantly, safe distance for her until we see the things that manifest her fear. Okay? Let's go back. Hear the tone? Good girl. So she's walking with me on a loose leash. It's important that she's with me. She's not out in front. we don't want her to have to worry about the world. When she's beside us, she knows we have her back. When we stop, she stops. I don't care if she sits or lays down or stands up, unless I gave her one of those commands. She can do whatever makes herself comfortable as long as she's not pulling the leash. Let's go. Atta girl. Sit. Hand signal for sit. We tell her to sit. Good girl. Now she has to hold that sit until we release her. Okay? Now, one of the things I believe is we don't put a dog in a sit for more than 30 seconds or a minute unless they just love to sit. I just don't like to put that pressure on their rear end. Break. Good girl. Sit. Hand signal for sit. She has to sit. Good girl and pet. We could even give a treat, but she's not working for a treat, so we wouldn't be giving her a treat every time. We would give her a treat occasionally, which she doesn't know is happening. So what did I do? I just put a treat in my hand. I'm going to decide when and if I'm going to give it to her. Okay? If she did, now she has to hold that sit until I release her. If she started to get up, we would tap the leash straight up, tap and release. Everyone gets confused here. We're not pulling up, we're tapping and releasing. And when we tap, we tell her no, repeat the command, sit, and then come back and give her a little bit of praise when she does it correctly. Even after we bid her or provided a consequence, we always praise the final resulting action that pleases us. It's just not as much praise as if she did it right the first time. Break. That's our release command. That means she's not working. But guess what? If we have a leash on her, she cannot pull right now. She can never, ever, ever pull us on a leash. If she started to pull, what would we do? We would tap on the leash just like that. See how she gave in to me? Then I would praise her. You saw the praise. I didn't tell her good girl, but when she walked into me, I praised her. When we're doing the let's go, hear my voice trying to motivate her to, let's go, come on. Did you see me tap the leash? That is the consequence for let's go. It's not a tap straight up, but it's a tap in the direction we want her to go. See, the taps are not designed to intimidate or dominate or break her spirit or hurt her in any way. It's allowed to let her know, much like maybe mom would do with her pups, that night you're doing something wrong and we're going to nip you for it. Okay? Very important to understand. Good girl. So I'm going to praise her whenever she's doing something good. I am not going to just consequence and bite her all the time. I want to praise her 20 times more during the day than I bite. To me, this is very good. If we were walking around the street or doing something like that and she was just being with me, that would be a praise moment. She's seeing other people in the distance and she's not reacting. Good girl. Let's go. Sit. Good. Now the next thing is the DOWN command. The DOWN command for her, she's a livestock guardian, she's 1.5 years old, is the most submissive command a dog can do for their owner. It's really important that we do that command and make her stay there. Okay? Just telling her down, she has to stay, but if she starts to get up, this time we're going to tap the leash towards the ground. This is her head. No, DOWN. Hand signal from the side, down. No, down. Now you notice she waited for me to tap that leash. We're going to come right back and do it again. That completely surprised me, by the way. But notice that when I did that, she didn't down. And when I started to tap, she started to go down before I actually tapped. What does that tell you? She's waiting to see if I mean what I say or not. When I started to tap and she lay down, you notice I went ahead and tapped the leash. If I didn't tap it, the next time she may wait to see if I'm going to do something. So she's already learning to check and see if I really mean down or not. Whenever our dog messes up or we mess up on something, we're going to repeat that command immediately and see if she'll do it. Once she's in the down, she has to stay in the down until we release her. Okay? I don't care if we walk there, she has to stay in the down command. Notice I didn't say the word S-T-A-Y. There is a time to say stay, but that's when you're going to put her in the down and tell her to remain there for a minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. It's a command that when you tell her stay, you can know that she's got to be there, and that is a command that you need to do every day with her for the first couple of months. Great, let's go. let's go. Good girl. So now we're going to come back, and we're going to do that again in just a second. Good girl. Sit. Good. Now, so now she knows she screwed up last time. And did you notice she started to lay down before I told her to? She's submitting to me. But no, I didn't ask her to lay down. So when she started to go down, I started to tap up real lightly, if you go back and look at the video, to control them. Right, let's go. Sit. So what would happen? Why didn't I do down just then? Because if she thought I was going to do it, that's not the time I want her to do it right now in the beginning. Later down the road, that's a fantastic thing. But right now, she needs to learn to pay attention to me. Down. Good girl. That's a good girl. Notice the tone of my voice when I say down. It's a little bit different than sit and let's go. It's a little more demanding. No, down. Just rain. There's a lot of smells and taste in the earth right now, but I do not want, and that creates the dog's curiosity to check it out, but she can't smell the ground when she's walking, she's sitting, or she's downing. If I put her in a down stay, then she could smell the ground. But in the normal act of doing obedience, she needs to be focused with me and do what I ask her to do. The hand signal from the side is just like that. Down. Right. Sit. Good. Down. Notice from in front, the down is like this. Why? She can see that much easier than if I did that from in front of her. Much like when she was beside me, if I did that, she's beside me, she couldn't see that as easily as she could do that. Right. Good girl. Sit. Good. Good girl. I'll give you a treat for that. Now, the hand signal has come. You notice she actually, right, she got a little happy with that. We won't come to be one of the happiest commands in the world. When we're practicing on leash, if she didn't come, we would tap the leash to us, just like we do with the let's go. But, what? Did you see she jumped? I hear another cat somewhere, but I don't see it. Oh, what's that? Oh, she's wanting to play. Let's go. We're going to work. Good girl. Sit. Now, let's talk about play. Right. It's okay to play with her. But when you're playing with her on a leash, come on, let's go. When we're playing with her on a leash, she cannot pull the leash. If she starts to pull it, it's just like the let's go. We're going to tap the leash and stop her. Another thing we might want to do when she's playing is interrupt that play with the down command. Right, hey, down. Good. To let her see that play is over and at any moment I can stop that. Come. Good girl. That's a good girl. So the come, she comes, she sits. She has to hold the sit after the come. Off leash, in the house or what have you, I don't care. Right. But I will not tell her to come off leash for the first 200, 300, 400 times unless she's already in the act of coming. We've talked about that. We talked about it in our books with any of my clients. Coming's one of the hardest commands off leash, and we've got to teach a dog that they want to engage with us, they want to trust us, and it's a lot of fun to come, and that we're never going to provide a consequence. Let's go. Good girl. There's the other cat. But I think she just wanted to play. Let's go back. Come on. Good girl. Notice how I didn't tap up on the leash when I was trying to encourage her? Huh? Don't like her smelling, remember? Notice how I just tapped aside and encouraged her with my voice. Okay? I'm not going to bite her on the let's go when we're getting started unless I have to. All right? Hup. Hup is the load up command. Girl. Good girl. That's the load up at home in the furniture. I don't do that. Or load up in a car. Right. It's a wonderful command to teach. Typically when I load a dog up in the car, I make them sit or pause, and then I'll give them that hup command. Hup. Place is the bed command. She can lay down, sit down, and again, same hand signal I did for the hup, I did for the place. She can lay down, sit down, stand up, read a book, have an antler chew, one of my yak snacks, or what have you. She stays there until we release her. Okay? Right. she can do that for an hour or two already. She can do it with us when people walk in the door. At your home, because she's a good girl, she's a livestock guardian. If we put her in a place and somebody could walk in, we want to make sure we're in between those people coming and her place until she learns from you that she has to stay in a place even when somebody walks in the door. That can be done. It can be done easily. You have to practice it. Dogs learn in environments and scenarios. An environment scenario is we're working here. There are no cats here. She learns to obey with no distraction. Cat comes into the picture. Now we've changed the environment scenario, and typically when the environment scenario begins to change for a dog, we have to reteach that. So she knows how to place for me. She knows how to place when people come in. But as soon as she or any dog goes back home, they're going to go back to their learned behavior prior to them coming to me. That's why it's so important that I work with you in your home if at all possible, or if nothing else, we work together here so that when you go home, you can work in those environments through obedience. Obedience is the best way to teach that in the different environment, she still has to behave. What I like to say is, it's like the old comic book characters. You remember when a person was thinking in the comic books, they'd have a little bubble over their head where the light bulb went off. I like to say, if we're consistent and in every environment scenario change, that we do the same thing and ask the same thing from her, she's going to get to the point that she's going to have a light bulb moment and say, oh, Mom wants me to do this all the time this way. We recognize it, we praise it, okay? So now the only other command left is the heel command. The heel command is where we have an imaginary box, rectangular box by our side, and when we're walking, we want to keep her in that box. And it should be said, I might have said it with Let's Go, but I'm going to say it here, we don't want a tight leash. We always want a loose leash. In Let's Go and with heel, in the beginning with Let's Go, in the heel all the time while we're on leash, we want to have a short leash, okay? Our job is to keep her beside us, okay? When we stop, she sits automatically. Here's the hand signal, heel. Girl. So we go, we stop, she sits. Good girl. You notice I praised her. And I stepped off. She knows automatically to be in that sit, heel. So I will do figure eight. I'll step out. See how she looked at my, come on girl, how she looked at my thigh when I turn? Good girl. Step off, she's there until I release her. I could go break, and she's free. Good girl. Okay, I could go come, I could do down. But at the end of the heel, she sits automatically, okay? One of the things I encourage my owners to do is do big, wide figure eights. You can lay down if you want. Good girl. Big, wide figure eights. But don't stop in the crux of a corner, and don't stop in the beginning unless your dog is already in that heel position. Because if you jump stop and stop automatically real quick and abruptly, she doesn't know what she's thinking, and she's going to botch the command. We want to build on success if at all possible. I know this was a long video. There was a lot of things I wanted to cover. Diamond's a great dog. We need to work with her. We need to be the leader. Being her leader, as I say, with 90% of the dogs out there, being their leader is probably one of the most humane things we can do for our dogs. We're giving them boundaries and structure, but more important, we're giving them security and confidence in their lives and around you. It's going to increase that love quotient, increase that respect quotient. It's going to do wonders for you. If you ever have any questions, you know on any of my residencies, I'll do follow-ups free of charge. As long as you come to me, there's never a charge. We'll work on anything we've been doing. You may need to do a follow-up, but she knows what she needs to do. Now, my job is to make sure you know what you need to do and practice it. I thank you so much. Anybody needs to call me or you need to call me, 336-945-3232. Jim Hodges Dog Training. Facebook, Jim Hodges Dog Training. Thank you so much. Take care. Good girl.